Well, howdy friends, Brian Flechsig and Mad River Outfitters in the Midwest Fly Fishing Schools, and welcome back to another one of our Q&A episodes. As always, friends, we appreciate you being here. We really appreciate you being here. Be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and all those fun things. And if you would like a question answered here on YouTube, please send it over to admin@madriveroutfitters.com. It has to go to admin@madriveroutfitters.com, where we answer all questions, and then we pick a certain number of them to come here on the channel. And if we do answer it here on the channel, we'll send you a free hat and a fly box. Remember, if this is a customer service question, that's best to just email the shop, or actually very much better to call the shop. Let's dive right in. Let's do this. John Cruz from Augusta, Georgia. John wrote us a book. John says, "Hi Brian and the MRO team. I'm John from Augusta, Georgia. Longtime listener, first time caller. First of all, thank you for all the videos you guys have made throughout the years. I've learned a lot from you guys, and your videos never cease to make my day so much better." Wow. I fly fish a lot here in Augusta, Georgia. My question is, here we go. Drum roll, please. As a 90% wade fisherman, would you advise using a full sink line over a sink tip fly line? Wouldn't the belly of the fly line sink to the bottom of the river as I strip my fly? And would the sunken fly line be detrimental to the casting? Maybe get a stripping basket? Or will a sink tip fly line get the job done just fine? Well, John, we've got quite a bit to talk about. Let's hit your first question. Actually, first of all, let's go back. Kelly explains how full sinking fly lines are much better than sink tip lines, and that's not exactly what he says. If you actually look at Kelly's lines, they are not full sinking lines. Either the Streamer Max Long or the shovel head. And you know what? I'm just gonna get the whiteboard. Okay, hold on, John. Okay, John, I had to get out the whiteboard because I want you and everyone else to understand this. There's been a lot of discussions. In fact, you may have seen a recent video where Kelly and I, himself, were talking about this exact subject. And we're gonna be talking a lot more about this because sinking lines are integral to virtually almost everything I do outside of saltwater fly fishing. But again, Kelly's fly lines, the Airflow Streamer Max Long and the Airflow Shovel Head, those lines, basically you might call those sinking heads or sinking belly, where the rear end of them are still the floating running line, and then basically the entire head or belly is then the sinking portion, and it's still a weight forward fly line, but this is all sinking, okay, and it's attached to a little bit of a handling section back here, and then you've got the running line. Whereas the shovel head, basically the same concept. The shovel head has kind of a unique taper, and forgive me, I'm not going to draw this perfectly, but the shovel head is almost a reverse. It's heavier at the front, which gets the tip of the line down a little bit better and gives you a straighter shot, but still attached to a running line. A full sinking fly line, the entire length of that line is going to sink, okay? The entire length of the line is going to sink, and you may have the head here with a taper. Whereas a sinking tip fly line, a sinking tip is going to be running line, then into a belly, and then anywhere from, say, 5 foot. You have the Rio 5 foot, the Cortland 5 foot, the Rio 10 foot, the 15 foot, and then the Airflow Streamer Max Short, which is not Kelly's line. The Airflow Streamer Max Short is actually, I believe, an 18-foot head. So just this front portion, and then the taper, that front taper is just going to be a sinking portion, okay? So let me hit your questions again. So just so you understand the difference, Kelly's lines, and Kelly didn't say that he thought a full sinking line was better. A full sinking head, where the entire head works better for what he does and where he fishes and his techniques, which he taught us in Modern Streamers for Trophy Trout. So your question is, as a 90% wade fisherman, would I advise using a full sink fly line over a sink tip fly line? I would not. A full sink fly line is really a boat line, okay? And here's why. If you're wading, okay, every bit of line that you strip in and is now in the water, basically at your feet or at your legs, is now going to be sinking to the bottom of the stream. Whereas with Kelly's lines or with a sink tip fly line, it's going to be floating, so it'll be on the surface. In order to pick up and cast again, and especially with this rapid fire style of casting that we do, again, that Kelly taught us when we're streamer fishing, it's going to be very hard to do because you're going to have to pick up all this sinking portion off the bottom of the stream before you can cast again, and then hold it in your hands, and it winds up being a mess. A full sinking line is really a boat line. It's going to be best fished maybe out of your kayak. But, I really think that if you have either the Streamer Max Long, the shovel head, or some form of sinking tip, you're way better off even in the kayak. So you ask, wouldn't the belly of the fly line sink to the bottom of the river as I strip in my fly? Well, this line is not going to sink any faster than this line necessarily. Of course, it depends on the sink rate, but having the full portion of a sink doesn't make this part sink faster, okay? Same thing here. This doesn't necessarily sink any less fast than the same 10-foot or 15-foot of this line. Of course, it depends on the type of sinking line. It could be a type 3, type 6. Type 3 is going to sink 3 inches per second. Type 6, 6 inches per second. It's not going to sink any faster because it's a full sinking. But also your question is, wouldn't it sink to the bottom as you strip your fly? No. Go back to that video that Kelly and I did when we were out in Montana this summer. I think it's linked right there. And we mentioned that the moment you start stripping any of these lines, they stop sinking, okay? So this line, this line, this line, this line, you can fish them 6 inches below the surface if you strip really fast, okay, and continuously. It's only if you stopped stripping or you didn't strip for a number of seconds is that line going to sink and actually get down. So that's very, very important. So would the sunken fly line be detrimental to the casting? Well, let's go back to this, and if your running line is sinking, if that whole line is sinking, yes, it's going to be detrimental to your casting because it's just hard to pick it up off the bottom and reshoot. Maybe get a stripping basket. Well, you could, but man, what a pain those things are. And I've never seen a self-respecting wading stream smallmouth fisher with a stripping basket. If you get the right fly line, you don't need a stripping basket. And that right fly line is this one, or a variation of this one. Or will a sink tip fly line get the job done just fine? Well, yes. And this is a really big question. And when Kelly's lines on the Streamer Max Long, I believe the belly and front taper are right around 30 foot and the rear taper is right around 10 foot. So that makes a 40-foot head, okay? And this line is the best at what it does, but it's really designed for fishing larger rivers, for casting long distances, and it also has to do with how long you need to keep your fly down in the water column. So again, if you're casting long distances, you've got a very fast, roily river, and you need to keep that fly down for a longer period of time, there is no better than the Airflow Streamer Max Long. And there's a couple of other lines too. Rio makes a couple of lines that are similar. Scientific Anglers makes the Sink Cold, that's a similar design. Again, I will still say not as good as Kelly's line, but for specific streamer fishing. But if you're fishing a very small stream, for example, think about this for a second. If you're only making a 20-foot cast to begin with, and then starting your retrieve, well, as you retrieve, you're going to be stripping in this portion of the line, and that's going to be at your feet in the water, and it's going to be creating the same problems that this line would if you were stripping in back here. And that's where a sink tip may come into play, whereas if you're stripping back here, it's floating line. Okay? Now, granted, this 10 or 15 foot tip is not going to keep the fly down as well and as long as the longer head or the longer belly, but it's still going to suffice, and you're going to eliminate that problem of stripping and sinking line and having that at your feet. Okay, so there are other lines, and as much as we love Kelly, and this is by far our #1 selling line, this one has quickly become #2, the shovel head. And you've recently heard Kelly talk about it and how important it is to him and to Johnny and to all the folks out at the Slide Inn. But there is a place for even a 5-foot, 10-foot, 15, 18-foot tips, and it just depends on the water you're fishing, how deep it is, how far you're casting, how fast it is, all kinds of factors. And the truth of the matter is that a good streamer angler is probably going to have 2 or 3 different spools rigged up with different lengths and even different densities of sinking lines as you encounter different situations, and you might even switch up during the day in a given situation. And that's especially true if you're a lake angler. Here's the moral of the story is call Mad River Outfitters. Call Mad River Outfitters. Anybody there can help and explain exactly where you're fishing, the depth of the water, the kind of streams you're fishing, and they will help you. Okay, John, thanks again, man. We really appreciate you. In fact, we appreciate everybody for being here. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss an episode. Hit that actually smash the like button. That just makes us feel great. And remember, send those questions over to admin@madriveroutfitters.com. We answer all questions, and some we choose to be read here on the YouTube channel. And if we do, we'll send you a hat and a fly box. And if it's an important customer service question, as always, pick up the phone and give us a call here at the shop. Customer service is what we do for a living. Fly fishing is what we love and what we sell. So stay tuned, friends. We've got a lot more coming at you. If you like this video, hit subscribe. It helps out a lot. And check out these videos. We think you might like them too.